And our final appearance card is Michael Hardy from the Florida Assisted Living Association.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, committee members. My name is Michael Hardy. I'm here on behalf of the Florida Assisted Living Association. The Florida Assisted Living Association is the longest established assisted living association in the state, providing advocacy, education, and regulatory support for our members for over 25 years. FALA is also the largest association of assisted living facilities, currently represents 647 facilities with 31,389 resident beds. Of those, 337 are larger communities with 17 resident beds or more, and the other 310 are smaller communities with 16 resident beds or less. On behalf of the members of FALA, I would like to thank Senator Harrell for her willingness to listen to our questions and concerns about this bill. She's asked us and other stakeholders to get together to discuss these items and try to come to consensus on potential amendments that would be offered in the next committee stop. We look forward to working with Senator Harrell and appreciate the opportunity to comment on this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, that concludes the appearance cards. Is there debate on this bill? Senator Baxley, you are recognized.
Thank you very much. I rise in support of this good bill, and what I see in this arena is that steady hand of trying to balance making this like home, making it an opportunity to fulfill what many people desire, an overarching goal, and that is being able, aging in place. Changes are disruptive. Many of us have cared for aging parents through these transitions, and the stability of being able to do reasonable things to accommodate a resident so that they don't have to go through more disruptions is very highly valued by a guy that's 67 and taking care of aging parents through this period of time. And anything we do to make that less bureaucratic and more workable, and I think there's some things in this bill that actually provide that more reasoned approach, but at the same time takes care of essentials such as this reporting of adverse incidents. It is a tough balance, and they're not the same patient week 3, week 4, year 2 that they were the day they came in. And their lives are changing, and they're seeing the world they knew deteriorated and taken apart, and we're trying to make it as comfortable and wonderful as possible to feel secure that they're in a better place. And it is fascinating to watch people actually thrive in that transition when you thought they were on their last leg at home. But once they are in a supported environment, they're eating the right meals, they're taking their medicines at the right time with some supported staff. And a lot of it's just the constant relationship with people instead of getting isolated that's nurturing them. I think it's broad enough to allow an inclusiveness. We never want families to abandon their family member to someone else's care. And busy lives can make it hard to be daily caregivers, but I know the more involved that you remain, whether you're dealing with students or aging patients, the more you stay involved, the better their well-being and adjustment will be in whatever environment they're in. I can't say enough for the kind of assistance that I received in this period of life as eldest son, responsible for trying to make some choices for my parents. And I'm extremely grateful when we can make that. All of those don't need to be fancy, giant, institutional type enterprises. There's lots of mom and pops and smaller operations. They just love and care for people. And it truly is how things should be in terms of giving respect and honor to them when they've, for many of us, given so much to our lives. And just our view of decency, the value of every human person, and it makes us all better by what you do. So I want our legislation to be such that it doesn't just become total encumberment of spending all your time on compliance issues. I want you to be able to love my mom and dad and care for them. So I think this bill has that balance, some practical things, but also some safeguards that are necessary. And I appreciate your effort on it, and I particularly appreciate what it says about our love and respect for our seniors, because when you do that right, you treat everybody different. And it shows a different society. Thank you for the good bill.
Okay, thank you. Chair Harrell, you're recognized to close on the bill.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and I will address some of these issues. Certainly as the adverse incident issue, we really wanted to actually make it even clearer by citing the whole statute dealing especially with abuse, neglect, and sexual offenses, sexual incidents. We wanted to make it clearer. And if we need to go, we will absolutely look at that to make sure that we're making sure that any adverse incident that is truly an adverse incident is reported. The last thing we want to do is put our seniors in assisted living in any type of risk. And ACA plays a significant role in making sure that they are not at risk. As far as the liability issue, I really, the reporting of that, ACA does not use this information. I think we're a little misinformed about what happens to this. Most liability issues, most lawsuits that are filed against an assisted living facility are filed years, many times 1-2 years after the incident. They are really not informative to ACA as to a situation that needs to be dealt with immediately. These are old reports. If you know from your experiences, I know you're a lawyer, Senator Roussan, lawsuits take years to really get to the point where they're filed. So this is not actionable information for the most part. It was required in order to present a report to us, to the legislature. That report was eliminated in 2006. So ACA does nothing with this. And it uses staff time to do it, and nothing happens with it. So I'm just trying to make things as clean and as efficient as possible in that arena. As far as the appropriateness of placement, yes, we are absolutely looking at that. I'm working with the stakeholders to make sure, and this is a work in progress, I have to say. This bill is definitely a work in progress. So on the appropriateness of placement and the medical form, we want to update that form, and ACA, through rulemaking, will really devise that new form. That medical examination is so, so important in helping make the decision whether or not an individual can be placed safely in an assisted living, and the level of care. There's different levels of care that you can get in assisted living. We want to make sure that that's the right placement. So this is extremely important. We will look very carefully at that to see, to make sure that that form and the decision as to what is required in there will be an ongoing conversation. So I'm happy to work with the stakeholders on that, but I really think it needs some modernization. When this was originally developed, we don't have the many medical advances and ability to know what's the appropriate placement for an individual than we did years ago. So we're going to move forward with that, but I can tell you, I am committed to working with all stakeholders to make sure that we keep our seniors safe, that they have that loving, warm home environment, but yet have the services that they need. We don't want to shift individuals into a nursing home situation unless that's the best place for them. We want careful consideration, the very best, warm, loving environment for our citizens, for our seniors. And with that, I would ask your support of this bill and pledge to you that I will continue to work with all stakeholders on it. And with that, I close.